Brighton and Hove Albion against Chelsea, as the Blues are on the search for consistency and finally getting 2 league wins on the bounce together again. Well, it will be very interesting to see which formation Lampard goes with now, and the question whether dropping N'Golo Kante could actually solve some of our problems. Hello there guys, and welcome back to Blues Fans TV for my preview of Brighton and Hove Albion versus Chelsea, taking place tomorrow on New Year's Day with the early kickoff at 12:30 PM UK time, of course, in Brighton. And as we've gained a lot of new subscribers recently, hello to you. I do hope you enjoy our content. And other than that, I do apologise that it's a bit echoey. Still at my girlfriend's house. Can't really do much about the fact that it's echoey. I have put the microphone closer to me than usual. So I hope that helps. We'll have to wait and see. I'll do the review tomorrow here still, but after that I'll be back up. So you'll be back to the more usual good audio quality. But yeah, that is enough waffle, to be honest. Just if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to Blues Fans TV. Drop a like on this video if you like our content, and also make sure you hit the notification bell button so you don't miss any of future videos. But now let's just get into the preview, and of course, as always, starting off by speaking about our opposition, and that of course is Brighton. Brighton currently sit in 14th in the table on 23 points from the 20 games played so far, with an actually respectable goal difference of -4, scoring 24 but conceding 28. But they are arguably a better team than the table suggests they are, actually. I mean, especially since their new manager, Graham Potter, has come in the summer. He's really transformed their style of play. I mean, from a defensive side that for the most part hit long balls to Glenn Murray and fighting relegation after getting promoted, he has really turned them into a team that plays proper football. I mean, they went to the Emirates and dominated the game. I know, Arsenal weren't in a great place, but still, to go to the Emirates and dominate the game, we saw how Arsenal dominated us for the first half an hour just 2 days ago. So it's really not that easy, and he's really turned them around. But they're not very consistent with it yet. They're really not. Of course not. I mean, it'd be incredibly surprising if they were consistent with such a huge change of style, if that makes sense. I mean, they did get a bit unlucky against Spurs and maybe even against Liverpool recently, but a couple of other games, you can see the results on screen. I'm sure they would have hoped for, slightly better results in some of those games. In late September, we beat them 2-0 at Stamford Bridge in a game that we most certainly did deserve to win. I mean, there's no, kind of iffing around that. I guess we just deserved to win that game, but it took us a penalty by Jorginho and a late deflected 2-0 by Willian to actually seal the 3 points. So as much as we deserved it, we still, as we do in a lot of home games, struggle to actually, put the ball into the net. Plus, they do also spread their goals around quite a bit, making it difficult to just, take out one danger man and kind of then therefore keeping them quiet because you take out that one danger man, especially as they're also quite dangerous from set pieces, which of course is slightly worrying if you're a Chelsea fan, because we're not very good at defending set pieces, are we now? We're really not. Although I have to say their French striker, Neil Maupay, however you actually pronounce him, is most certainly the most potent goal scorer with 7 goals and an assist so far this season. While their manager, Potter, of course mentioned earlier already, has them just be a very versatile team in playing multiple different systems and formations across the season already. 4-3-3, 4-3-2-1, 4-2-3-1, sorry, 4-4-2, and 3 at the back in a couple of games as well, including when they came to Stamford Bridge. So it will most certainly be interesting what they go with tomorrow, and it most certainly will not be easy either. Even if I know for a fact that a lot of Chelsea fans will be thinking, it's only Brighton, we should be battering them. But of course, it's not going to be that easy. But still, we are going to be the favourites, and, we really do need the 3 points. So, we kind of, as Chelsea fans, have to expect ourselves to win, because if we want to fight for top 4, these are the games we need to start winning. But, to be honest, that was really it about Brighton, and now getting into Mr. Frank Lampard's pre-match press conference. But there actually was no, pre-match press conference held specifically for the Brighton game, but rather, the post-game press conference after the Arsenal game, 2 days ago, was just split into 2 parts, and kind of the Brighton part, the latter part of it, all of what was said in that was only released this morning. But in that part, I guess he did still give a very, a couple of very interesting updates, especially on the few injury situations that we are dealing with at the moment, especially in the fullback positions, as both Reece James and Marcos Alonso will be out for another week or so with an ankle and a back problem respectively, while for Cesar Azpilicueta, who has been struggling and playing through a bit of a hamstring problem, the boss said that the player felt better against Arsenal than he did against Southampton, meaning that he is most likely going to be just fine to feature against Brighton. Then lastly, on Christian Pulisic, who somewhat surprisingly wasn't in the squad at the Emirates, Lampard said, basically stated that it just wouldn't even call it an injury that kept Pulisic out of the game, but the American just had a tiny bit of a cramp a couple of days ago in his hamstring and was just left out simply for precautionary reasons. did train the last few days, but only trained the last few days lightly. But basically Pulisic also himself then said on Twitter that he's 100% healthy and ready, which of course some fans immediately twisted into Lampard has an agenda against foreign players, when all Puli really said is that he's fine now and ready to feature again. And, you know, the way Lampard said it in a press conference, of course, 2 days ago now, you know, sure sounded like, oh, he's going to be just fine to play in the next game now. But to be honest, that was really it with the interesting things coming out of that presser. And now just coming to Chelsea. And there's a lot of interesting things to talk about here, in my opinion, because the formation debate really is an interesting one now, isn't it? Like, it really, really is. I mean, 3 at the back against Spurs, it worked absolute wonders, one of our best performances of the season. Very surprising 3 at the back against Southampton, and it fails completely. Lampard got it badly wrong. Then 3 at the back against Arsenal again, not really surprising at all, in my opinion, but it failed completely again, and we changed the game around when bringing Jorginho on and changing to a 4-3-3. So what now? Surely he can't go with 3 at the back again. Like, surely not. I would just be, you know, massively surprised if he goes for it again after it failed twice in a row against completely different, you know, types of opponents. Like, if it was always the same kind of opponent and now we had a different one, I could maybe understand if he goes for it again. But because Arsenal and Southampton are 2 completely different opponents and it failed both times, I just can't see him going for it again, in all honesty. I just can't see it happening. So I think he has to go back to the 4-3-3/4-2-3-1. And of course, you know, starting from the back, Kappa has to be in goal. The centre-back 2, in my opinion, should be Antonio Rudiger and Fikayo Tomori. Whether Rudiger should actually play or not is a different question to be had. He wasn't good against Arsenal, in my opinion. But he's, you know, almost certainly will start, just seen by the fact that even though he was on the ground, you know, with a bit of a head injury, and Frank Lampard still took Tomori off at that point, it says a lot about the Rudiger standing for Lampard. And then Tomori next to him, I just want to see that partnership start together finally in a forward-to-back formation. If it doesn't work, we can still go back to using Zuma, but I just want to see them start together and be played in that formation for once. And then at fullback, I mean, we don't really have any other options than using Azpilicueta on the right and Emerson on the left, unless Lampard is so annoyed by Emerson from his shocking performance in that first half an hour at Arsenal that he's actually considering starting, you know, of course, Tariq Lamptey, who made his debut and came on against Arsenal, and starting him on the right with Aspi on the left while Reece James and Alonso are still out. But personally, I doubt it. So I just think it's going to be Aspi and Emerson. Then coming to midfield, now for me, there are 2 absolute guaranteed starters. 2 that just absolutely have to start. And those are Kovacic and Jorginho. It's those 2. It shouldn't even be a debate whether those 2 start, quite frankly. Of course, in a, you know, 2-man midfield, so a 3-4-3 formation, that's a different story. Then I even actually understand, even I, as much as I love Jorginho, I understand why we wouldn't start Jorginho in that formation. But if it's a midfield 3 or a 4 at the back with a kind of 3 and a 2 and a number 10 in front of him, Jorginho has to start. Like, it's not even a debate that should be had. And personally, I would actually give N'Golo Kante a rest. I wouldn't necessarily class it as dropping him as such, but I would give him a rest and also see how he does for the rest of our, you know, team and for our performances, where it actually could be a little bit helpful. Because if you think back to when we went on that mad winning run, that was when Kante was out injured and we had a double pivot of Jorginho and Kovacic pretty much in every game. I mean, I just want to try it, basically. And also, you know, he's played a couple of games recently, not very often at his best either, in all honesty. And like I said, in my opinion, it just wouldn't be bad to see how we do without him. And that basically meaning is I don't want to see Ross Barkley start. I mean, he also will start against Forest on a weekend because we will rotate a lot in that game. Mason Mount stays in the side, but not on the wing this time, but rather as more of a number 10. If it is Kovacic and Jorginho without Kante, it's probably more of a 4-2-3-1 rather than a 4-3-3, which I would be okay with. And coming to the front 3, don't care if he's a bit tired or not, in all honesty, Tammy has to start up front. It's just that. Michy Batshuayi gets to play in the FA Cup on the weekend, but for tomorrow in the Premier League, it still has to be Tammy Abraham. There's no 2 questions about it. But then coming to the wings, it is a bit of a trickier one, I guess. I do think that Willian could probably do with the rest. You know, even though he went on that mad 80-yard or whatever it was sprint in the 87th minute at the Emirates that assisted our winning goal, you know, he could probably do with a little bit of a rest. Pulisic should be absolutely fine to start again, in my opinion. So, you know, I hope he starts. I want him to start. So really, it's just on Lampard who starts alongside Pulisic. Is it Willian or is it Hudson-Odoi? I mean, I would accept both. It better not be bloody Pedro, but I would accept both of the 2. It's just looking at the Forest game as well. Probably it's a tiny bit better to start Willian again if he somehow can, and then play Hudson-Odoi against Forest, where maybe he can pick up a little bit more confidence and then use him in the Premier League again more after that. Just because even though he was decent when he came on against Arsenal, he has struggled in the Prem in the games before that. So maybe if he plays against Forest, really has a good game, really can score and whatever, and just be the main man, that could raise his confidence a lot, and then he could also be doing better in the Premier League. But as for the game as a whole, I think we've learned 2 things in the recent games. We're very, you know, we're very obviously a lot better away from home than we are at home at Stamford Bridge. And also that we just have to be 100% on it. We always have to be 100% on it. The fight, the will, the determination, and the intensity need to be there for us to get the 3 points, regardless of whether the opponent is a London rival or a mid-table / relegation fighting team. It doesn't matter. Like, just look at that first half an hour against Arsenal. I'm not saying we didn't try, but the intensity just wasn't quite there. We were just always a yard or two or three too late on everything. JORGINHO comes in, we change it around, the players get a bit more confident, and we're on it. We're right on it, and we dominate the rest of the game and manage to turn it around with a late comeback. So, you know, if we show those traits with the quality that we also have, I mean, we can't lie about that. We do have some quality players. I think we will get the win. Depending on how we defend, either 2-0 or 2-1 win sounds pretty realistic to me. But all that matters to me right now is that we need a win. We need to get a bit of a run of wins going, especially now, of course, it is the FA Cup on the weekend and then a full week off until the next Premier League game. So it would just be crucial to get that win now tomorrow, because, you know, you don't want to sit on a league loss for, well, almost 2 weeks. You just don't want to sit on that. You don't want to have to deal with that as a squad, as the fan base, with other fans, you know, coming in. And of course, it would just make the whole vibe and the whole atmosphere around the club a little bit better. Not that it isn't great already after beating Spurs and Arsenal. That's much as, you know, the Southampton defeat in between was, you know, very, very depressing. But guys, I'm going to leave it here. I'm not sure how long exactly this preview has turned out to be, but I do hope that you enjoyed it. Of course, it is New Year's Eve today, so if you're watching this today still and not, you know, tomorrow, I wish you, you know, a very, very happy New Year. Actually, even if you're watching this tomorrow, I wish you a very, very happy New Year. Hope you had a good 2019, and here's to a better 2020. I'm going to have a good evening today, and I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. So make sure you hit the notification bell button. Like I said already, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, and I'll see you when I see you.